Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Tuesday Tips Cut the Gibberish. My apologies for coming in a few minutes late. Tech issues on my end. I hope they're all taken care of. I hope you can see me and hear me. If you cannot, please let me know. If you are joining me live, please do say hello and let me know where you're coming in from. I would love to hear that. So this is our Tuesday Tips Cut the Gibberish. So come on in. I'm excited to be here with you and share some information with you. So today we're going to be talking about 5 tips for better follow-up. If you're not following up, you could be losing money, right? Or leaving money on the table. So are you meeting new business people and still not getting new clients? Your follow-up process could need to be updated. Here's 5 steps. I'm going to go through 5 different steps to set up a follow-up system that works to get more clients. Okay. Number 1, create a master list or database or CRM. You can, if you're just starting out, you could start this in a spreadsheet, and then as you grow, later on, move on to a database or a CRM platform. So keeping everything in one place is the most important part of managing your follow-up, other than doing the follow-up, of course. Set up what works best for you. Some people use a notebook, others use a spreadsheet, Google Sheets, whatever, and even others use a CRM or database. And like I said, if you're just starting out, a spreadsheet may work to start, but as you grow and move forward in your business, you may have to move on to a database or a CRM platform. Keep it simple to start, and find a way to use it every day and every week so that it becomes a habit. You want to create a follow-up habit so that you can be consistent with your follow-up. Okay. Apologies also for a scratchy throat. Record every interaction. That's number 2. When you connect with someone, you update that in your master list. Like for me, I've been following up for years now. So every time I have another conversation with John Smith or whomever it is, I update that information in my follow-up system, whether it's my CRM, spreadsheet, whatever it is. I update that information. I usually update it with the date that the conversation took place, what number that conversation was or that contact was. Like if I've contacted them 3 different times, or we've had 3 different conversations, whatever that looks like for that specific person. I update that information as well. So when you connect with someone, you update it in the master list, whether it's the first time you're having a conversation or whether it's the 10th time you're having a conversation, whatever that looks like for that specific person. That's part of why it needs to be so accessible for you. If you don't keep things updated, it will not be effective for you. Use a Google Sheet, because you can access it from your PC, your phone, or anywhere, pretty much online. With many ways we can connect with people, having a central place to record the information is essential. Okay. You could be having a phone conversation with that person while you're driving down the road, or, while you're having lunch or whatever. Well, as soon as that conversation is over, you want to go update. Because if you wait till you get back to your desk or to your office, you may have forgotten about it, right? So if you have a Google Sheet set up, you can access that from your phone or your laptop or your iPad or whatever it is you use, right? Easy, accessible. Okay, number 3, communicate with intent. When you are looking at those touch points, be sure you have a reason to connect with that person. Okay, whether it's a follow-up on a previous conversation, or you want to have an update conversation. Maybe y'all haven't talked in a while and you just want to get updates on what's going on with them and their business, and you want to share updates that's going on with you and your business, that kind of thing. Creating the intent, the topic of conversation, it's essential when you reach out to connect with them that you say that, like, especially if you send an email or something, you could put that in your subject line. Let's reconnect, or let's have another conversation, or let's follow up on our previous conversation, whatever it is. So maybe you know of an event that's coming up that they may be interested in, or an industry trend that you're reading about, or maybe it's just to check in, right? To ask how their business is going. If you haven't talked in 6 months to a year, things have probably changed, right? So that way you want to find out how business is going. Bring me up to date. What's new in your business? Are you thriving in your business? Whatever. But be sure you know what the intent of the communication is before you reach out. Okay. If you're the one reaching out, then you can create that intent of the conversation, right? Okay, moving on to number 4, schedule time to do it daily or weekly. I do both. I have a certain type of follow-up that I do on a daily basis. Then I have a certain type of follow-up I do on a weekly basis. So depending upon your business, you may not have to do it daily and weekly, depending upon what kind of business it is you have. But you do want to schedule your follow-up and be consistent with it. Create a habit. If you follow me on social media, you see that I post all the time about Follow-Up Friday. Yes, I do follow up on Friday. There is a certain kind of follow-up that I do on Fridays. So yes, I do follow up on Fridays. And if that works for you, if that's a catchy phrase that you can remember, Follow-Up Friday, then schedule your follow-up on Fridays. And you do it on Fridays, right? Maybe first thing when you get to your desk or your office on Friday mornings, you do your follow-up. That way every single Friday morning, that's the first thing you're going to do. And that takes care of your follow-up, right? So daily or weekly follow-up is really important. When you're talking to people every day or every week about your business, you will have a lot of conversations going on at once. Of course, that doesn't mean you have to email or message or call every day, right? Or every week to the same people. Maybe choose certain people, 3 to 4 people you're going to follow up this week. A different 3 to 4 people you're going to follow up with next week. Because, you don't want to follow up with the same people every single week or every single time that you follow up. You want a different group of people. But you still want to do it every week or every day or whatever works for you, right? So, like I said, you don't want to do it every single day, but you should reach out at least to 2 to 3 people a day or week, whatever you decide to do, whether you decide to do it daily or whether you decide to do it weekly. Choose at least, I would say at least 3 to 5 people, depending upon how many people you have on your list, of course, because you're just getting started with your list. You may not have a whole lot of people. And I get that. I didn't either in the very beginning, but right now I have endless. My follow-up would never be complete. Anyway, it makes the routine regular, and it helps you stay top of mind with those relationships that you're building. Okay. Number 5, ask for sales conversations only when it's the right time. These follow-up conversations are not for you to try to make a sale every time you talk to the person. That's not what this is about, okay? When you're prospecting and doing follow-up, patience is a virtue. It really is. Don't connect with someone and right away ask them to talk about working together, because that's not what it's about, okay? It's about building the relationship. You want to nurture the relationship with anyone you connect with, whether you connect with them on LinkedIn or any other social platform, or you connect with them through a networking event, online or in person. You want to start nurturing and building that relationship. Okay, you're not trying to get a sale. They will let you know if they need what you have to offer, right? Once you start talking about your business and telling them exactly what it is you do, sure, what you have to offer may be intriguing and it may be something that they could use, but that's not the intention of the conversation to begin with. Okay. When the time is right, you can ask the prospect if they would like to chat about how you could help them, right? Or if they aren't your ideal client, you might ask them to be a referral partner, to refer you to others, right? But always make sure it's the right time and not just jump into it with the very first conversations you have with that person. So you definitely want to wait till it feels like the right time after you've got to know the person a little bit before you start asking if it's a possibility for you and them to work together, or if it's a possibility for y'all to become referral partners, if they're not your ideal client. If they're not your ideal client, then you'll probably never work together. But you could possibly become referral partners, and they could refer you to other people that they know, right? Following a few rules when you're following up helps you to keep organized, on top of things, and authentic in your relationship building. And that's the key, guys. You want to be yourself and you want to build the relationships, right? Because that builds the know, like, and trust factor with that person. They will get to know you, they will like you and trust you. Therefore, they can refer you, right? So building that know, like, and trust factor is very important. And nurturing and building these relationships is where that starts. Hope this information was helpful for you. If you have any questions around anything I shared, please put it in the comments below or reach out, send me a private message. I'll be happy to talk to you about that or answer any questions you have. Hope everyone has a great week, and I'll see you again soon.